Platinum blonde is historically seen as the bombshell maker hair color, but it's one that comes with a very steep price tag, maybe even the ultimate one. Today we ask, did blonde blindness used to kill women? Before we do a deep dive into the bleach bowl, here are my credentials. Yes, I'm a former beauty blogger and beauty writer. I used to work for Allure magazine, but these are my real credentials. I used to dye the ever-loving shit out of my hair. Now for the Herstory, starring quite literally the first platinum blonde Hollywood icon, Jean Harlow. Jean said she didn't bleach her hair. Come on, girl. But her hair color was so notable, it started a rumor that is still going around almost 100 years later. In the 30s, like typical hair bleach did not exist like it does today. So hairstylists and just regular people were mixing their own formula. It is highly dangerous. Hydrogen peroxide, ammonia, and household bleach, just like Clorox from the bottle. Decades later, Jean's personal hairstylist gave the exact formula that he used on Jean, which is crazy. He said, we used peroxide, ammonia, Clorox, and Lux Flakes, which is like a detergent. And he said, can you believe that? LOL. Jean died tragically in 1937 at the young age of 26. This was the last photo of her. Almost immediately, a long-lasting myth was born. She died from bleaching her roots every Sunday, which she did, the bleaching, not the other part. She actually died from uremic poisoning and kidney failure. It started because when you mix ammonia and Clorox, it creates hydrochloric acid, which is basically a poisonous gas and is very harmful to be inhaled. The theory was that over time it caused damage to her kidneys, which ultimately killed her. In reality, a lot of things led up to this. When she started showing some signs of decline in kidney issues, she was misdiagnosed, which led her to not be able to receive treatment. By the time they figured out what was wrong, it was too late. She also had kidney damage because she had scarlet fever when she was a kid, and she was a heavy drinker. Tragic? Absolutely. Blonde blindness? Yes. Death-inducing? No. But even decades later, this shit was treacherous. Vidal Sassoon was quoted as saying, we used to make these diabolical bleaches, mixing 20 volume peroxide in a bowl with 3 drops of ammonia. The number had to be exact, and I was terrified my hand would shake. It was as primitive as that. Scary. Those years, Marilyn Monroe was the hot platinum blonde, of course. Even she had to pay the blonde tax. Although she only did her roots a reasonable every 3 weeks, which is what I used to do for the record. People who knew her called her hair texture cotton candy. You know what? Relatable. Her stylist said that his formula was my own secret blend of sparkling silver bleach, whatever that means, plus 20 volume peroxide and a secret formula of silver platinum rinse to take the yellow out. And cotton candy. Back to our original question at hand. Has anyone actually ever died from those old-fashioned bleaching ways? I couldn't find any concrete evidence that anyone had ever died from dyeing, well, bleaching. But there were plenty of people who ended up with horrible chemical burns, eyes swollen shut, or lungs not in great condition. It was noted that if anyone did die from one of these processes, it probably just would have been marked as a victim of poisoning. So we'll never really know. I'll say there have been a lot of attempts to rid society of blonde addiction recently, but history tends to repeat itself. I feel like with this ever-looming promise of an economic crisis, we'll soon see again how Sally Beauty delivers, literally and figuratively.